everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is another reseller advice deeper dive, and today we're talking about ratings. That piece of advice that says ratings don't matter, ignore it, move on. And I have to say, this is the first time in this series that I will say I disagree with this advice. For the most part, there's a couple of instances where, yep, absolutely, I agree. But for the most part, I do disagree with this advice. And we're going to get into why. I'm going to give you a couple of examples, etc. But what I want to start with is that ratings or feedback on eBay is miles away different than it is on Poshmark. They are totally different entities for sure. On eBay, you have a feedback percentage, and everyone can see it. It doesn't matter where you are, if you're a buyer, you're a seller, everyone can see that percentage. Right now, our eBay store is at 99.7% feedback, positive feedback, which is really good. We're proud of that. We're actually really proud of our feedback because we really do strive to be good sellers. But everybody can see our 99.7. So you know what? You can go look, and I'm not lying. So I think on eBay, it makes a difference in the sense that buyers can see that. And if they are looking at two different listings that are basically the same, they may go with someone that has a higher feedback if that's what they're looking at. Because you know what, all things considered, I think I'd feel more confident in buying with somebody that has a 99.7% positive feedback than somebody that only has a 60% positive feedback. So it can make a difference, especially on eBay. Don't know how much of a difference it does make, but like I said, we do pride ourselves on being good sellers, and this is like a benchmark for us. It feeds our ego in a sense, but it means a little bit more on eBay. On Poshmark, absolutely nobody but you, the seller, with your account, sees your star rating. Nobody. It's nowhere on any listing. It's nowhere. Nobody sees it, which is a bit ludicrous if you ask me, because you know what? Like, again, we strive to be good sellers, and I'm proud of my 5-star ratings on both Posh Canada and Posh US, but you only have my word for it because you can't see it in my listings or in my account. Only I can. So by that, absolutely everybody that sells on Poshmark could be a 5-star seller. They could tell everyone, I'm a 5-star seller, even though they only may not be. They just may not be at all. One indication, though, on Poshmark is the ambassador ratings or the ambassador statuses, because I believe you have to maintain a 4 for ambassador 1 and a 4.5 for ambassador 2. So a 4-star rating and a 4.5 star. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you know what? They're kind of little benchmarks. I don't know if when you're buying, you look at the ambassador status or not, or you just look at the listing itself. I'm not sure. I don't think buyers look that heavily on Poshmark. So yes, anybody could be a 5-star seller because on Poshmark, buyers don't see that information. That's it. They do see your love notes, and that's nice. I mean, when I go into somebody's closet and if I'm shopping, I don't necessarily look at their love notes. I just don't do it. I may look to see when they were last active, because I think it's really important that they're an active closet on the app, and also their ship time, their average ship time, because I want my stuff shipped as fast as possible. Those are the things I look at. I don't go looking at the love notes. Now, love notes are lovely to receive. I like getting them. They give me some good feedback, and it makes me feel good. And I like making my customers happy. So that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It is a positive thing. Now, with this piece of advice about ratings don't matter. So on Poshmark especially, because you don't see those ratings, I can understand why they don't matter. Nobody sees them, so who cares? But if I get a feedback or a star rating that's less than 5, say it's a 4, and they give me a really good piece of advice, or I missed something that I should have had in the listing or whatever, something that goes with my business plan, I take that as a sort of a learning thing. And it's really important to me to continue to evolve, continue to learn, and to actually make sure that I'm doing the job that I want to do. I pride myself on being a good seller, and it's something that if I'm getting feedback that is sort of learnable or teachable to me, I will take it 100%. If it's a 4-star, 3-star, whatever, with absolutely no feedback, those are the ones I ignore. I just ignore them and I move on. If the customer isn't that upset, or there's nothing to work on, they're not giving me any feedback, I just ignore it. I got my money, whatever, and I'm good with that. Now, that being said, sometimes, there are people out there that you're just not going to make happy. You cannot make actually everybody 100% happy all of the time. You will actually have people out there that don't like you, and that's okay. I know that when I stopped using tissue paper, when I stopped packaging it with tissue paper, my orders on Poshmark, I was a little bit concerned that people wouldn't like it, that my ratings would go down. And you know what? They haven't. But I'm very much prepared for someone to sort of say a 4-star for packaging. And you know what? That falls into you can't make everybody happy all the time. And that's okay, because I made that decision as a business. And I decided that it was worth the risk. And I was very willing to go back to tissue if I found that everybody was giving me 3 stars or something. But it hasn't happened that way. When you do something, when you make that business decision for your business, maybe you're using recycled boxes or something like that, and not everybody likes them. Just be prepared that you might get a few lower ratings, and take it into consideration that, you made a business decision, it's working for you, and one lower rating out of 100 is really not going to affect your business at all. So it's okay. Just remember, you're not going to make everybody happy 100% of the time. But if I can learn from a piece of advice, like I remember a couple of years ago, I had sold a pair of boots. I think they were ankle boots, and they had like a fleece lining. And I believe it was a 4-star rating, which is not bad in and of itself. But I had zoned out, brain farted, forgot to clean the inside of the boots. Normally I take, the lint brush, take it through, or take a damp rag, take it through to get whatever's in there out. And I just didn't do that for these boots. And the person was not happy about that, but they gave me a 4-star, released the funds, fine. I thanked them, because that was a learning thing for me. That taught me to double check that everything was spick and span and clean before I sent it out. And that really helped me. And I actually thanked them. I sent them a message saying, thank you very much for your feedback. I appreciate it. You taught me something, and going forward, I will use that information. So for me, in that sense, ratings did matter. If it's something that I can learn from, if it's something that could make me a better seller, I absolutely will take that advice. Constructive criticism is absolutely fine. For me, the ignore it and move on part of the advice is wrong. 100% wrong, 100% wrong. Never ignore anything. Whether you're on Poshmark or eBay, I think you should be looking at absolutely everything, whether it's feedback, ratings, comments, questions, what other things, returns. I think you should be reading absolutely everything and responding to as much as you possibly can. Because I think it's really important as a seller to be on it, to be aware of what's going on within your business. So if you are getting questions and you're ignoring them, that's not good for your business. If I get a feedback and there's nothing there to help me, there's nothing there I can do to help the buyer, yeah, I do ignore that, and I do move on from that. No, I don't ignore it. I read it, but I do move on from it because I can't do anything about it. My hands are tied or it's out of my hands. So I do move on, but I do read it because I think being present in your business is really, really important. Another thing about ratings, I don't chase ratings down. If somebody gives me a 3-star with whatever feedback, if it's teachable, I may comment saying thank you. If it's just other or it's just a 3-star with nothing, I don't chase them down to say, why did you only give me a 3-star rating? I don't care. I care, but I don't care. I don't go chasing those ratings. I don't think it's productive. If you're a brand new seller, I absolutely understand why you may want to have more feedback. What did I do wrong? How can I make it better? I get that. And in those instances, if you want to chase a rating, if you want to go and ask them, absolutely do that. 100%. If you have the time and energy and want to know, absolutely do that. I wouldn't beg for them to change it. It's just, it is what it is. But that's sort of a business decision that you have to make individually. I personally don't chase ratings. I just don't. And with Poshmark, one thing with Poshmark and their ratings, besides the fact that they're hidden and make it seem like they don't matter, is that buyers have up to a month after they receive an item, they can change the rating, which I think is not right. I think they have the 3 days to accept, to rate, whatever. Fine. I think 3 days is more than enough that you can get the item, inspect it, for the most part. Sometimes there's certain special circumstances that they're away and they didn't really get it, whatever. But once I sent out, I believe it was 3 tea mugs, and they were Diane von Furstenberg. They were really pretty, and I sent them out. They went to California. And at this point, I had been packaging breakables for a long time. I know how to do it. I've had very little problems, if any problems, knock on wood. The person got the order, rated me 5 stars right away, said, oh, they're lovely, blah, 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 left a note, the whole bit. 3 weeks later, she changed the rating to 3-star because one of the glasses were cracked. So in that instance, I was like, okay, first of all, I didn't realize that they could change a rating. So I did email Posh and asked them. And they said, oh, yeah, they got a month to do it. And then I was like, okay, you gave me a 5-star and said that everything was lovely. So to me, that means that you had looked at the item already. So what happened in those 3 weeks that the thing ended up being cracked, if it was even cracked, I was actually really pissed off about the whole thing. I had to sort of process and go through it, and I did talk to Posh about them not. I don't think it's right that that they're allowed to change their ratings at a month, and that's wrong, even though nobody sees it. So nobody sees this rating. It's only me. It's only between me and the customer, and that's it. And I did process it. I did figure it out, and I just, you know what? That was it. I was done. I moved on, and it was fine. I don't think that giving buyers a month to be able to change their ratings is right. It's something I think Poshmark needs to change, but it's also not all that important either. Because, yeah, on Poshmark, ratings aren't really all... They matter. I don't want to say they don't matter, but on Poshmark, nobody sees it but you. So you know what? Use it as a learning tool if there's any feedback that you can use. Otherwise, you know what? Read it, see it, and move on. That's it. Anyway, that is it for today. I hope everybody has a fantastic week. It's supposed to be a really nice week here, so I might get out and get some gardening done. So I'm excited. Anyway, I'll see everybody on Friday. Have a good one. Bye.